Hey everyone, for this part of this week's lesson, we're going to review fourth grade expanded form with whole numbers. We will be using expanded form with decimals next week. So we're going to look at how fourth grade expanded form is different from fifth grade expanded form, but we're going to use the numbers that we are used to working with, which are whole numbers. If we look at the standard for Ohio, this is the standard number. So the 5 stands for fifth grade numbers in base 10, and this is the third part of this standard. If we come to the second part of it, it says that fifth grade students need to be able to read and write decimals using base 10 numerals, number names, and expanded form. So we're going to start this with whole numbers, and then we'll be working with the decimals next week. So how is this different than what you did in fourth grade? Well, if we look at the number 1,847, if we were in fourth grade, we would simply say, well, this would be 1,000 because there is a 1 in the thousands place. And then we would look at the number in the 100s place, and there are 8 of those, so 8 hundreds. And then we would look at the number in the tens place and say there are 4 of those, so 4 tens is 40. And then we look at the number in the ones place, and there are 7 of those, and 7 ones is equal to 7. And that's fourth grade expanded form. In fifth grade, we use the powers of 10 that we learned last week to show numbers in expanded form. So we start the same way. We go up to the thousands place, and we say we have a 1 there. And when we multiply that by 1,000, we would get the 1,000 like we wrote for fourth grade. We're going to add that to the number that's in the hundreds place and show that you would multiply that by that 8 to get 800. The addition symbol in between each of your multiplication sentences is extremely important. So we're going to come up to the tens place, and there are 4 tens added to the 7 ones. And that is how you do expanded form in fifth grade. It is based on these powers of 10. Sometimes you will see the multiplication part of this expanded form put into parentheses. So 1 times 1,000 in parentheses added to 8 times 100 in parentheses added to 4 times 10 in parentheses added to 7 times 1 in parentheses. I actually prefer to show it that way. It makes a little bit more sense to look at it that way, but it's not always shown that way. So you need to be able to read it, whether it has parentheses or not. And generally on the end of the year assessment by the state, you will not see the parentheses. So you can do it both ways, but without parentheses is preferable. So let's try another one. And this number is a little bit bigger, so we have 34,207. Again, if we were in fourth grade, we would say there is 30 or a 3 in the 10,000s place, so that would be equal to 30,000. And we would add that on to the 4 that's in the thousands place, and so that would be 4,000. And then we would add that on to the 200. Since there's a 2 in the hundreds place, we have 200. And then we would add that on to, oh, now here's an interesting question. Do we need to include this We don't. This 0 is here as a placeholder. We do not have any tens. If we left that out of there, then we wouldn't have 34,000. We would have a much smaller number. So we use that 0 as a placeholder, and when we're writing it in expanded form, we don't need to include it. We do need to remember, though, that this 7 is in the ones place and not in the tens place. So we're just going to show it as a 7. So there's your 4th grade expanded form. Now we're going to do it 5th grade and go back and really look at what those place values are. This 3 is in the 10,000s place. So it's 3 times 10,000 plus the 4 is in the thousands place, 4 times 1,000 plus, or added to, we have a 2 in the hundreds place. And again, we're going to put in our addition symbol. We do not need to include the number that is in the tens place since it's just a placeholder, but we definitely need to include the 7 times 1. So I would like for you to look at the next two numbers. So we have 604,391. And on the question that follows this video, I am going to ask you to show both the 4th grade expanded form and the 5th grade expanded form. And we're going to leave the parentheses out of that. And then I will ask you to do the same for this number. And that might be a little bit tricky because this millions place may or may not have been a place value that you worked with in 4th grade. And so just remember from last week that this is the millions place, and 1 million is 6 zeros following that number in the millions place. So I'll look forward to seeing your work for those two numbers added into the quiz, and you can look forward to some more teaching videos to follow.